Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. Today is Wednesday, and I always do my Q&A videos on Wednesday. So basically, each week, everybody asks me questions, and I have a video where I post my Q&A, and whatever questions get asked on that video, I basically answer. And I give your channel a shout out. If you have a channel, I will give it a shout out and get some free publicity. So, this video actually is going to be pretty long because there's just so many great questions. I really want to give great answers. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about Bizarro. I'm going to be talking about, comic guides. I'm going to be talking about a whole bunch of things. It's just like so many things. Stay tuned for all that. Let's get right into the questions right now. First question comes from Epoch252. One of my favorite things about comics in the 90s were the gimmick covers. I love them too. I love the gimmick covers of the 90s. So tacky, so wonderful. Actually, in a very future video, I'm going to be talking about that topic in detail. But I actually refer to the 90s age of comics as not like just the modern. Like a lot of people just refer to anything past like 90 as the modern age. I actually refer to it as the plastic age. And it is for the gimmicky covers, the populated books as well, the books that were just like mass printed. So yeah, I kind of consider the 90s to be the plastic age. And so he asks, what are some of your favorite gimmick covers? Foil stamped, die cut, hologram, prismatic, chromatic, etc. So I'm going to show you a bunch that I really, really like. And I was a big sucker for holograms. I actually have in my collection, and I'd have to pull it out, but I have actually the first hologram cover. And it's not on a comic. It's actually on National Digest. Not National Digest. It's National Digest. Is it National Digest? It's the one where it's like historic magazine. They talk about National Geographic. See, I was going through my nationals in my head. So National Geographic, it actually had a hologram cover, and it was the first one to do so. Comics also had great holograms, but the problem with holograms is over the years, they actually generally fade. So to get the holograms still in working order in, many years later is pretty awesome. So I actually have a working hologram. And this is it, an amazing Spider-Man 365, I believe. Yeah, 365. And this is also the first appearance of Spider-Man 299. So that's kind of extra bonus. But I love this hologram. I think it's the greatest thing. Yeah. So that hologram, can you see that? Okay, hopefully you can see that. I don't know how well it shows up on the camera. Another thing that was really gimmicky in the 90s, you didn't mention it, but it is definitely something that was really gimmicky, was the gold. They love their gold, the gold edition. So this is another Spider-Man gold. I love these comics. I actually have a silver version of this. So gold, silver was another one. And then platinum was another one that they would do. I have the silver one signed by Todd McFarlane. So that's a kind of bonus there. Another thing, and this is actually a really great series, and the artwork is just brilliant, and which is kind of weird for the 90s. The 90s, I really wasn't a big fan of the artwork. I found it a little bit unrealistic, but this one actually had really amazing artwork, and it has a gimmick. So it was the Marvels. This is a really great series. It was expensive back in the 90s. Because it's like this plasticky kind of cover that is kind of like a foil, like it's like a cover, a weird cover, plastic cover. So where it says Marvels is actually a plastic thing that can come that is like a secondary cover, and then the artwork is underneath it. So it was kind of a gimmick. But they made a series called Marbles, and there was 4 books in the series. There was actually 5. There was a 0, but it didn't have this kind of effect. I actually have that as well, but I'm going to just show you the gimmicky ones. This is Marbles Book 1. I'll just show you these. I just think the artwork is brilliant. I just really love it. Look at this one. Just really great artwork. Marbles Book 2. These are from the early 90s. And then we got, I actually was trying to sell this one at one time. $10. Marbles, number 3. And this one's a great Spider-Man one. Marbles number 4. So these were pretty great. So that was one of the other gimmicks that they had. And I have more. Now, one of the things that they always seem to do is these kind of like foily covers, or like kind of chrome covers, I guess it would be considered. So yeah, Bloodshot is kind of famous for that. Another one they would do is kind of these sparkly ones. I just recently picked this one up. Somebody recommended this one. I just thought it was a nice, sexy cover. And look at that. Look at that sparkles. Ooh. That's so 90s. And the artwork is very 90s in this cover. You can see that kind of style, 90s style. And then one of the most famous kind of like chrome kind of covers is this one, Turok number 1. They printed like 1 billion of these. I don't know. Like every woman, man, and child probably has 1 or 2 copies of this book. This was way overprinted. But it's a great book. It's like got that, kind of a cool effect going on. And last one is another Spider-Man one. And this gets a little bit of that shininess and kind of a whole bunch of little effects going on. You can see the webs kind of pop. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I love this cover. I think it's really great. So yeah, this is Amazing Spider-Man 375. It's a nice like a Venom Spider-Man cover too. So yeah, really great. So those are some of my 90s kind of favorite chrome ones, and like die. I didn't show any die cuts. I actually have some good die cuts. There's a Batman, I think it's Batman 400. That's a really good die cut. Yeah, so 90s were great for for those kind of books. Okay, so next one is from GoldenWalrus. I do like the angle. Okay, so he's referring to last week. I asked if you guys like this new angle that I'm using. I keep on moving my camera so that different books are shown in the background. Basically, I have a pretty long wall, so I'm just moving the stand a little bit each time so that you see a little different parts of my wall in the back. And he said that he makes you more the focus instead of being slightly lost in front of a wall of amazing comics. Thank you, by the way. I do want to thank you because before finding your channel, I was a bit of a grade snob and felt low and mid grades weren't even worth considering. So my low grade collection behind me, like my grades are like really low. But it allowed me to buy some really awesome books. So yeah, and he's saying that he wouldn't have considered that if it wasn't for watching my channel. Seeing your collection and how some that have lower grades can still present beautifully has allowed me to get over myself and add close to a dozen comics that I thought I would never own in my collection. I'm glad I helped some way. I have 2 questions for you. Since you seem to collect some Archie comics, who do you prefer, Bettie or Veronica? And can you show some of your favorite covers with them on it? So I'm in Team Bettie, I guess. I keep on switching. Like I sometimes I like Veronica, sometimes I like Bettie. So right now I would say I like Bettie. And okay, so I'm going to show you some of my favorite covers. And then do you have or know of any good girl covers where the focal point is a teacher? And yes, I do. So I'm going to show the first one. Actually, I'm going to show the second question first, which is kind of weird, but it's just because it's right on my mind. Once I saw that question, I thought of my very favorite good girl art cover. This is like I really love this cover for good girl art. And it's Ginger #1. And it's got that kind of sweater kind of style, good girl art. This is just a really great cover in my mind. It's my favorite from the Ginger run. There's only 10 issues in Ginger, but all of them are great. But this one is my favorite, and it's Ginger #1. And the focal is the teacher, because the teacher, well, I'm not sure if you meant the teacher as the subject of the good girl art, but this is a good girl art with a teacher in it. I hope but this is the one that came to my mind when I saw the question. And I just really love it. It's just like, it's really cute. Ginger, what do you consider to be the most outstanding development in recent history? And she says, the history teacher. I just love that. It's just so cute. That typical, girl crush on the cute teacher kind of thing. I think that's kind of cool. So, and it's a great good girl art. I love the little hearts and the sweater thing going on. Headlight cover a bit. So, yeah, I really like this one. So, Ginger #1. So that's the second part of the question. The first part is my Bettie and Veronica stuff. So I actually brought a bunch. And the first one I'm going to show you is my favorite Bettie cover. And then the rest will be Bettie and Veronica together on the covers. I just wanted to show this one. I love this comic. This is just such a great good girl art cover. It's probably my favorite Archie comic of all. And there would be one by Andrew Pepoy that I also love, which is like a zombie related one, but like Afterlife of Archie #1. But I just love that comic as well. But this one is my favorite good girl art one. Just really great cover. It's, Bettie on the couch. It's the kind of innuendo one. It's just a really classic Archie cover. It's probably one of the most expensive Archie books too. Except for maybe Archie #1 and, Pep 22 or something like that. Those are big books. But this is in that league because it's quite a popular cover. It's just a really great cover. I love it. So there's that. And one sec here. I gotta move things in behind me. Running out of space. Okay, then I gotta show you some of my favorite Bettie and Veronica covers together. And a lot of these are the sexual innuendo covers, but the first one is not. But it's kind of shows that frenemy relationship between Bettie and Veronica, and I just love it for that reason. It's just really great. This is Bettie and Veronica. I believe this is the Valentine's Day special or something. No, it's just #1. Okay, so I just think it's a really great cover. Like, they have different weapons in behind their backs to, they're acting like friends, but at the same time they're ready to kill each other. I just love that cover. Okay, so that's one of my favorite covers, actually, for Bettie and Veronica. But then I get into the innuendo ones. I love the innuendo covers for Archie. And this is one that's kind of in that league. So you got Bettie and Veronica on the top of this hill, and Archie is climbing up behind them. And he's saying, and then Jughead asks, "How's the view up there, Archie?" It's getting better and better. It's like these two sexy girls up ahead. Okay, so that's that one. I really like that. And then we got another one, another innuendo one. This is Archie 374. And again, it's like somebody's asking Archie, how's the weather up there on the slope? And he's saying the slopes are beautiful, kind of thing. Just beautiful, just beautiful. It's like them being sexy and Archie kind of recognizing that. So I like these kind of covers. And then we got probably one of the most infamous sexual innuendo covers is Archie 511. And this is the one where he says, my horoscope predicted I'd be in the pink today. So bit of referencing there. Okay, so yeah, we've got Bettie and Veronica in swimsuits, kind of a sexy Bettie and Veronica cover. And it's a nice sexual innuendo cover too. So I really love this one. And we got the last one is just a fun, sexy cover with Bettie and Veronica. And this is, I consider this to be the only nude cover of Veronica in the Archie collection. I don't know of any others that have Veronica nude on the cover. And this is it. So this is Bettie and Veronica. And she's in the bathtub with bubbles, but nothing else. So I think that's kind of interesting. So this one actually is a really cheap book to pick up. So it's very undervalued, considering usually the Archie books that are like bikinis or stuff like that are way overpriced. So just something to watch for. So that's Bettie and Veronica number 6. And it's just a undervalued book in my opinion, because it is kind of a great cover. So that's, hopefully, I'm just going to move those over again. So that's that question. Let me just get to the next one. So the next question is from Blackboxed Silver and Bronze. Great video, referring to last week. My question is, do you have any Bizarro comics? Okay. There are so many, like Superman, Superboy, Lois Lane, Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, Joker, Lex Luthor, Batman, Flash, and many more. They are relatively affordable. Which do you have in your collection? Well, I actually went Bizarro crazy like maybe a couple of years ago, because I liked the character. I just thought Bizarro was interesting. I actually liked him for a long time. And I just tried to get all the different Bizarro related keys. So the first one of those major keys for Bizarro is this one. This is the first appearance of Bizarro, and I'll get into the explanation about this book actually. So this is Superboy 68. Okay, I actually bought this raw and then got it slabbed. It didn't grade that well because there's a stain, and I didn't notice the stain at first. It's just this one stain that goes right across. I was so upset because I really thought it was a high grade. But it's that one stain that killed the grade, just killed it, because it's actually a really nice copy, but that stain just really killed the price, the grade. I would have graded it a 6, but that stain really did kill it. So yeah, so this is the first appearance of Bizarro, but this one's kind of interesting. What happens is Bizarro dies in this comic. He is killed. So a lot of people say, well, this is not truly Bizarro. This is the first Bizarro-like person, but it's not really Bizarro's first appearance. But based on most guides, or like, CGC or PGX in this case, they say it's origin and first appearance of Bizarro. So this is Superboy 68, kind of the first appearance of Superboy. Bizarro, but later on they kind of bring back Bizarro, and this is the Bizarro that kind of continues on in continuity, and this is Action Comics 254, and this is kind of truly the first appearance of Bizarro. This one's a highly underrated key, in my opinion. It's still an expensive book. But you can pick it up for like $50 in a low grade, so it's not too bad. Low mid grade maybe. Really great key. So this is Action Comics 254, first real appearance of Bizarro in a way. So yeah, and I say that having the other book, but that's the first time we see a Bizarro, I guess, and this is the first time we see Bizarro that continues on. So this is that Bizarro where he's truly like Superman. The Bizarro in the other book is actually Bizarro Superboy, which is kind of weird. So that's Bizarro there. And then I have a ton of Bizarro keys. So I'm going to show you all of them. This is the first appearance of the Legion of Bizarro. Some Bizarro superheroes. So we got that. And then we have what's his name? Cookie the Super Ape Bizarro. You know, it's like this is a nice 12 center. This is, oh, I should have said that other, sorry, I should say what the issues are. This is Adventure Comics 329. So if you want Legion of Bizarro, the Bizarro Legionnaires, I should say. And then this one is Adventure Comics 295, I believe. Yeah, 295. Yeah. Okay. And that one's kind of cool. And it actually has like Bizarro Lois and Bizarro on the cover, which is kind of cool. And I thought this one was really cool. I really like this one. This is Adventure Comics 294. And this is the first appearance of Marilyn Monroe Bizarro and Bizarro Kennedy. So I thought that was kind of cool. Very nice Silver Age book. And then we got this is Adventure Comics 285. And this is the first appearance of Bizarro World. And you got them playing baseball. Bizarro baseball. Okay. And I can never pronounce this guy's name, but this is his first appearance as Bizarro. Mr. Mixaplix? I don't know. I never know how to say his name. But this is his first appearance as a Bizarro. So that's kind of cool. And you got Lois and Clark and baby baby Superman there too. So Superboy or whatever he is. Yeah. So nice little Bizarro Mr. Mixaplix. I never knew how to pronounce his name. Somebody showed me once and I totally blanked on it. And then we got the first appearance of Bizarro Lois Lane. There she is right there. So this is Action Comics 255. So that's kind of cool. Bizarro Lois Lane's first appearance. And then we got Bizarro Supergirl's first appearance. This is Action Comics, I think this is just the giant size. What issue is it? Oh, 347. So this is Action Comics 347. The first appearance of Bizarro Supergirl. Another character I really like, Supergirl. So I like to get the Bizarro versions of all the characters. Then we got Superman number 140. And this is the first appearance of Bizarro Family. So you got Lois and Clark as Bizarro. And then you got the baby as well. So it's kind of cool. And then we got DC Comics Presents 71. This was actually my giveaway. When I did my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. This was the one I had in it. And this actually has a bunch of Bizarro first appearances. It has the first appearance of Bizarro Joker, which is right there on the cover. He's normal. And the rest of the world is Bizarro. And he's not normal for, in our world, he's crazy. In Bizarro world, he's like normal, like a regular guy. So, and then there's also Bizarro Wonder Woman in this as well. So a whole bunch of Bizarro characters. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then we got World's Finest 156. And this is the first appearance of Bizarro Batman. So you got Joker in the behind there, and you got Bizarro Batman and Bizarro Superman on the cover. So that's, Bizarro Batman first appearance. And when I actually first got into Bizarro and just learned who the character was back in the 90s. So I didn't never heard of the character before, but they kind of brought him back in this thing called Bizarro World, which was kind of a crossover event. So this is Superman number 87. It's from 1994. And then it also kind of went across into Adventures of Superman 510. And it was actually, I forget how many issues were in it. These aren't even the first issues in it, but these are the ones that I picked up. And this is how I got introduced to Bizarro as a character. I didn't really know him before the 90s. So, it wasn't a character that was that popular until they kind of brought him back, reintroduced the character in the 90s in this Bizarro World story. So, yeah, that's my Bizarro collection. Actually, I think I have a few others for Bizarro, but those are all the major keys for Bizarro. Like, those are pretty much all of them. The next question, let's see if I can find the paper. Okay. It's from Star Pod Trek podcast. Now, last week I didn't understand their question, and I felt like an idiot because I really didn't know what they meant. So they explained this time what they meant by their last week's question. So we collect comic newspapers, magazines, along with comic books. Things like comic shop news, comic buyer's guide, Wizard, Overstreet, Update, and the comic scene. And I actually do collect Wizard, but my Wizard comic, like my Wizard magazines, like I pretty much had most of them because in the 90s, Wizard magazine was the magazine for it was like kind of like the Comic Tom of the time. It was kind of like, what's the hot book of the week? And then you would basically read Wizard magazine, and they would have their hot list, and they would show kind of like pricing on a regular basis. Before Wizard, you kind of had to rely on Overstreet at Price Guide, which was once a year. So the prices kind of would change a lot more rapid than that. But the Overstreet would be kind of a little bit outdated, even back then in the 90s. So Wizard was kind of the cool book that everyone was picking up. And I picked it up too because it was, it showed the most up-to-date stuff. And also within Wizard was kind of cool. They'd always have these pullouts where you could send away for a giveaway. And I would often rip them out. Like they weren't considered a collectible. So I'd rip out those pullouts and then send off the coupon to get whatever issue. They would always have some special issue that you could order away for. So I actually have a stack, like a pretty big stack of Wizard comics, but they're back in my parents' place in Nova Scotia. That's where I'm originally from. Now I do have, since I'm I do have some other books that are kind of cool. And I'll show you them. They're Overstreet Guides. So the first one is Overstreet Guide number 6 from 1976. This is just a really great one. I'm a fan of the Spirit. So this is the Spirit right there on the cover. And I just thought this was nice because it's one of those bicentennial. It's the bicentennial issue, I guess. It's like 1776 to 1976. So bicentennial. And it's an early price guide for Overstreet. It's number 6. So I thought that was kind of cool. I believe it's Will Eisner that did the cover. Pretty sure it's Will Eisner. It looks like his stuff. I might not be, but you can correct me in the comments below if it's Will Eisner or not. I'm actually right. Okay, it actually says copyright 1976, Will Eisner. Okay, so I was right. Okay, so I just think it was a great cover. And a lot of these guides are really cool because you look into them and then they show like near mint copy of Fantastic Four #1 as like a $500 to $1,000 book. It's like it's kind of gone up a bit since then. So it's really cool to see that. And then here's another one. This is a classic Alex Schomburg cover. Just really great cover for Alex Schomburg. And I'm a big Alex Schomburg collector. So, and it's a Nazi cover. So it's a really great cover. Like just a, I actually know somebody that has the original artwork for this cover. And it's just a really great one. So Alex Schomburg. And this is issue number 10 from Overstreet. And the funny thing is, if you look at the price, it was $9, like almost $10 back in the day. I mean, this was an expensive book. And this is from like, I believe this is I would say like 1980. So like really expensive book for the time. I mean, now it's like a $50 book too. So it's expensive now, but I thought that was interesting. And then I have one last one. This is number 8, and I picked this up because of the Good Girl art. This is Bill Ward, I believe. It did the artwork for it. And it's just a really great cover. So a lot of these price guides, when I buy them as a collecting thing, I mean, like there is cool articles and stuff inside, but not really much. This one actually shows a lot of the books that I really like too. So it's got a really great Good Girl art cover with like Phantom Lady and Blonde Phantom and all these kind of characters, Wonder Woman and Bullet Girl, all characters that I love, and Miss Fury. I love all these characters. Okay. But inside you can see like they had some really great covers where they show some of the great covers that I collect. And I actually pretty much have all of these covers. These are all ones that I've collected over the years. So it's like, so it's kind of interesting. These, price guides. So the interesting thing about looking at these price guides is comparing the prices now and from back then. I really like this one. This is one of my favorite price guides just because of the Good Girl art. So I even mentioned Sheena. Sheena's there too, another character. So just so many good of the characters that I like. So that is my very small collection of kind of price guides or these kind of publications about the comics. And I actually do have more, but they're not here. So I can't show them all. Now, the very last question comes from Michael L. And what do you use to display your comics? What are the white stripes? Okay, so if you look behind me, you'll notice these white stripes. That's what he's referring to. And what it is J channel. And if you actually search my channel, I'm talking about J channel, you will actually see I did a video where I show how to install that J channel. And it is the cheapest way to basically mount your books on the wall. And it's really great. So what I recommend, watch that video, okay? But where it's showing how to like install J channel. And it costs like, it's really cheap. It's meant for like, I think it's for like siding on a house. Like it's not like, they use it for like weather stripping or something. I'm not sure actually. But it's really cheap. It's like $6 for a long, like 10-foot long piece of this thing. And you get like a few of those and you can build like a great wall like this. And I bought like a dozen, a few dozen, of them so I could install it all through my walls on the outside, on inside. I just went crazy with J channel. So the way I installed it though is really cool. So you can basically go like this. You can grab it, you can kind of push it up, give it a little push, and you can actually pop the book right off the wall. So you can put it, and it just pops right back in. That's it. So it's something where you can kind of pop it in, pop it off, and it's really tight. It's nice and tight where it's not going to fall down. So that's the cool thing, because it is like this. You can kind of put the book in, and then it kind of can lock in there. And it holds the books really, really well. I put lots of screws so that it stays nice and tight. It's not going to fall down. So that's, those strips on the wall are J-channel. So those are this week's questions. Actually, the video wasn't as long as I thought. I was like worried I was going to be like a 10-hour video or something, but kept it fairly short. I tried to be quick. But if you have a question for me, put it in the comments below and I will answer it next week. So, and I'll give your channel a shout out as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I recommend that if you're into Bizarro or if you're into those 90s things, try to remember those numbers that I showed because there's some really great comics there. Yeah, I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments below. And also, please subscribe to the channel. Like 10% of my viewers, 10% are subscribers. So I don't know what people are doing. I just want them to subscribe to the channel. I need to get to 3,000 subscribers. That's my goal, to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And I'm not even close to that number. So I need your help. Please subscribe to the channel. Get your friends to subscribe to the channel. Get your grandmother to subscribe to the channel. And please, thank you for watching. I just want to say that. And bye for now.